Today we're going to talk about how to factor polynomials. Factoring is just to write an expression as the product of other expressions. Let's start with an easy example. 3x plus 15. We see immediately that we can factor out the 3. In other words, the 3 goes into 3x and 15. The 3 goes into 3x and into 15 means we can write the 3x as 3 times something and the 15 as 3 times something else. So 3 times x is 3x and 3 times 5 is 15. And the factors of 3x plus 15 are 3 and x plus 5. But what if we have 3x plus 15x instead of 3x plus 15? In this case, we can factor out the 3 and the x. So let's write the 3x in front of the parentheses. And ask yourself, 3x times what is 3x? And 3x times what is 15x? Feel free to pause the video and try it yourself. 3x times 1 is 3x and 3x times 5 is 15x. What we also can do is just to factor out the 3 or the x instead of 3x. Let's check if these are exactly the same as 3x plus 15x. 3 times x is 3x and 3 times 5x is 15x. X times 3 is 3x and x times 15 is 15x. We see in this example that we can factor out the 3x or just the 3 or the x. When nothing else is said, we factor out the largest possible expression, which is 3x in this example. In other words, most of the time we're looking for the greatest common factor. For the sake of completeness, I have to say that there's always one number to factor out. This number is the number 1. So we also can write 3x plus 15x as 1 times 3x plus 15x. Let's look at the next example. 5x cubed minus 10x squared. Feel free to pause the video and factor out the greatest common factor. So we ask the question, what is the largest possible expression which goes into 5x cubed and into 10x squared? It's 5x squared. Five x squared goes into 5x cubed, x times, because 5x squared times x is 5x cubed, and 5x squared goes into 10x squared 2 times. Because 5x squared times 2 is 10x squared. We can also say 5x squared times negative 2 is negative 10x squared. Let's look at polynomials with 3 terms, also called trinomials. 3x cubed plus 6x squared minus x. Feel free to pause the video and factor out the greatest common factor. Can we factor out the 3? The 3 goes into 3x cubed and into 6x squared. But unfortunately, it doesn't fit into negative x. So the only expression that we can factor out is the x. X times 3x squared is 3x cubed. X times 6x is 6x squared. And x times 1 is x. And we are done with this problem. Let's look at the next example. X squared plus 3x plus 2. When the leading coefficient is 1, like in this example, you can ask yourself which two numbers multiplied together are 2 and which same numbers added together are 3. Feel free to pause the video and find these two numbers. 1 plus 2 equals 3 and 1 times 2 equals 2. What we're going to do now is to write these two numbers in parentheses with an x respectively. X plus 1 times x plus 2. Let's check our solution. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. 1 times x is x. And 1 times 2 is 2. So we get x squared plus 3x plus 2. So we factored x squared plus 3x plus 2 to x plus 1 times x plus 2 with this simple method. How cool is that? So keep in mind, if you have a trinomial like this with 1 as the leading coefficient, then you can try this method. Again, you have to ask yourself which two numbers multiplied together are the constant and which same numbers added together are the coefficient of x. Let's try one more example with this method and look at x squared plus 5x plus 6. Feel free to pause the video and try to factor this trinomial. 2 times 3 is 6 and 2 plus 3 is 5. So we can write this trinomial as x plus 2 times x plus 3. In other words, the factors of x squared plus 5x plus 6 are x plus 2 and x plus 3. Let's look at an example where the leading coefficient is not 1. 2x squared minus 4x minus 30. So how can we make a 1 out of the 2 to apply the method from our previous two examples? In other words, how can we get rid of the leading coefficient 2? That's simple. 4 and 30 are even numbers, so the 2 goes into 4 2 times, and it goes into 30 15 times. So we can factor out the 2 in our first step. 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared. 4x divided by 2 is 2x. And 30 divided by 2 is 15. Now the leading coefficient is 1. Again, which two numbers multiplied by each other are negative 15? And the same numbers added together are the coefficient of x, which is negative 2. Feel free to pause the video and try to find these two numbers. These two numbers are 3 and negative 5. Three times negative 5 is negative 15, and 3 minus 5 is negative 2. So we can write the polynomial as 2 times x plus 3 times x minus 5. Let's try another example and factor negative 3x squared minus 21 minus 30. So feel free to pause the video and try this yourself. We immediately see that 21 and 30 are divisible by 3. Negative 3x squared divided by negative 3 is x squared. 21 divided by negative 3 is plus 7. And negative 30 divided by negative 3 is plus 10. The next step is to factor x squared plus 7 plus 10. Again, which two numbers multiplied by each other are 10? And the same two numbers added together are 7. Feel free to pause the video and try to find these two numbers. This is a good exercise. The numbers are 2 and 5. 2 times 5 is 10 and 2 plus 5 is 7. So we can write negative 3 times x plus 2 times x plus 5. Let's move on to, let's say, x squared minus 25, 16x squared minus 36, and 25x squared minus 49. If you are not confident with the third binomial formula, feel free to watch my video about the 3 most important binomial formulas. In all these 3 examples, we can apply the third binomial formula, also called the difference of 2 squares. What we're going to do here is to replace x squared minus 25 with the product of 2 parentheses. The difference of 2 squares says we can write this as the square root of x squared, which is x, plus the square root of 25, which is 5, multiplied by the square root of x squared minus the square root of 25. So in general, we can write a squared minus b squared equals a plus b times a minus b. What about 16x squared minus 36? The square root of 16 is 4. The square root of x squared is x. And the square root of 36 is 6. The difference of two square roots says we can write this as 4x plus 6 times 4x minus 6. And we are done with this problem. What about 25x squared minus 49? Feel free to try this on your own and write how you solved it in the comments. Let's do an example where we can't factor the greatest common factor out to get the number 1 as a leading coefficient. 4x squared plus 8x plus 3. 8 is divisible by 4, but 3 is not. What we're going to do here is to multiply the 4 by the 3 first. Which is 12. Second, we have to find two numbers multiplied by each other are 12, and the same numbers added together are 8. These numbers are 2 and 6. 2 times 6 is 12, and 2 plus 6 is 8. And third, we can replace the middle term with 2x plus 6x. The next step is called factoring by grouping. Just take out the greatest common factor of the first two terms, which is 2x, and the greatest common factor of the second two terms, which is 3. 4x squared divided by 2x is 2x, and 2x divided by 2x is 1. 6x divided by 3 is 2x, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. By the way, if you can't factor out, just factor out the 1. The next step is to factor out 2x plus 1. And what's going to left over is 2x and 3. And we are done with this problem. By the way, we call this method the eazy method. Let's do the last example with this method. 9x squared plus 9x minus 4. 9 times negative 4 is negative 36. We can write the negative 36 as 12 times negative 3. And 12 plus minus 3 is 9. So we can write the term in the middle as 12x minus 3x. Then we can factor out the 3x. And the negative 1. So we get 3x plus 4 times 3x minus 1. And we're done with this problem. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. This video is what I did for you. If you want to do something for me, hit the bell button, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching and happy learning, everyone.